Hello. In this video, I'm going to be demoing my final project for ITP 404. My name is Sarah Bautista, and I guess to kind of give background for my final project, I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift, and I wanted to make a website where um, it would kind of invite fans of Taylor Swift to go on, to go to like a page where her eras, quote unquote, are listed out. So like each one of her albums is kind of called an era in her fan base. And like any fans or users of the site could go through these eras, click on one of them, see like a collage of her outfits or maybe like other imagery related to that era or album. And then they could also leave a comment on that era slash album, and give their feedback on the collage. So my website is called Through the Eras, and I'll just kind of walk you through it. So this, I have my four routes set to be the index. So this first page, and here on the index page, it just invites Swifties to experience the Eras tour like never before. If they're looking to cherish the joy each era brought to every show, they'll be able to see collages of Taylor's outfits grouped by era. Um, Here I have like this image to kind of add to the UI experience. And then here, when I click on this link, it would say explore an era. And so here it brings us to the era selector as I named it. And so this is, again, the page that would list out the eras or albums. And then a user could click on each of these banners to take them to the collage associated with that era. As you can see here at the top with the nav bar, you can also click between these two pages. So between the index route and between the eras route. So again, welcome to the era selector. Click on one of the eras below to explore a collage of Taylor's outfits for that era. There are 10 eras, and this is pulled from my database. So as you can see here, um, a, one section of my database is the eras listed out as well as the associated color of those eras. So just going to scroll through this. I have different fonts for each one of the eras. And let's just click on the Fearless era and see where it takes us to. So once I click it, you can see there's a collage here. This is actually one of the collages that doesn't have too many outfits. It's just one outfit from the concert, and then it's some more imagery, but most of the collages that I put on the site have just like a bunch of pictures of her outfits. It was pretty difficult to find nice collages that had maybe like an outfit that she wore in her concert. To be honest, I'm not super creative when it comes to like actually making graphics. So I did take these from Pinterest and I kind of credited them down here. So again, as you can see, this page is the selected eras page. So this is another route. This is the third route in my code, and a different collage would pop up depending on which era was selected. So once you scroll down, there are kind of two little prompts here with buttons that lead to different sites, or different parts of the site. So the first one says, want to give us feedback on our featured collage for this era. And here it says, leave a comment. And I'll kind of go through that one in a moment. But down here it says, want to explore the featured collages of other eras, explore a different era, excuse me. So I decided to put in this feature just so that users, like when they scroll down from the top part, instead of like having to scroll all the way back up to the nav, it's not a nav that sticks to the top of the screen all the time. So instead, when the user scrolls down, they could just click here and it would take them back to that era selector page. And let me just click on another era to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So speak now. So here's a different style of collage that has all of the outfits that she wears during this era or during this album, the songs for this album at the concert. So there's another example. And so now I'll show, kind of demo the comment section of the website. So This is another route. This is the comments route. And as we can see here, there's a param of the era ID. So whatever ID is associated with that album. And I kind of render, again, like a little back button, just in case the user wants to go back to the collage page. But here is a comments section, and it'll kind of state what the era that these comments are for. How I have it in my database is, well, just to not to backtrack, but to show here are the collages. So here's where the collages come from for each era. But then when we go to comments in my database, as you can see, I kind of have these already inputted, one for each era. That these are editable, or at least they can be deleted, as I'll show later on. But for now, I just have it kind of in my database so that a comment shows up for every single era. And as you can see, there's a name for the comment author, there's a comment body, and then there is a timestamp here. And each comment would show up in like a kind of top to bottom way here. And so here is the comment form. It asks for a name and for a comment body. It already comes up with these error messages saying you must type in your name. In order to submit a comment, you must type in a message, or you must fill in both text areas in order to submit a comment. The submit comment button doesn't work until both text areas are filled. So let's just demo this. My name is Sarah, and my comment is, I love this era. And as you can see, once I type the message, let me just delete this for a moment. You can see that the error message pops back up, and also the one for the button. But once everything's full, everything disappears. If I copy and delete this one again, you can see the error message for the name input pops up and the error message for the button. But once both text inputs are full, the submit comment button is now selectable. Just quickly showing here, I also have an explore a different era button down here, and that would take us back to the eras page. But here I'm going to submit a comment, and let's see, comment successfully made, refreshing page. So we can see a notification popped up letting the user know that their comment was successfully made. And then it refreshed, and we can see now that my comment has appeared. And so this is one of my Ajax requests. This is my post request. My get requests have been throughout the demo so far. So when it comes to the eras, as well as the era collages, those were all get requests. But here now we can see it also got the comments, but now I've posted a comment to my database. And we can actually go here to the database, scroll down. Oops, let me refresh this. Scroll down and we can see that now it's been added. It has its own comment ID. The ID that's associated with it is Speak Now for the era. It has an author, a body, and a timestamp. So my new comment has been added to my database. And we can see there are two things that I can select. There are these links. One is called hide my name and the other is called delete. And of course, each of these would do something different to the comment. It pops up for this comment because it was just added. So when the database got the comments, I had it so that whatever comment already existed in the database, it can't really be edited or deleted just because that user isn't really the one that's logged in necessarily, or that's using the website again in the session. Whereas this is definitely from the current user. So here, if I click on hide my name, we can see comment successfully edited, refreshing page. And now I've refreshed the page and it says anonymous. So now it's hiding the commenter's name. So if they don't necessarily want their name to be there, it can replace it with anonymous. And so this is a patch Ajax request. And now for the delete Ajax request, if I click on this link, it should delete my comment. And now let me just show really quick what the comment looks like in the database. So the author has been changed to anonymous. It just removed the author's name from the database, just replaced it with something with just the word anonymous. But now if I click on this delete link, it'll say comment successfully deleted, refreshing page. And so now the comment is completely gone. So that comment that showed up above what was already rendered from the database, it's now completely gone. And if we go back to the database, we can see that the comment with ID 11 that was showing up before it no longer exists in the database. So those are my 4 Ajax requests. I have my form validation here as I demoed before. For my generic component, so the reusable component that I used in a couple of spots, honestly, I have several components throughout my project, but I guess one example could just be these headers. So all of these headers and through the eras, the home page, the eras page, wherever it says, here it says, welcome to the era selector. Here it says, Swifties experience the eras tour like never before. So all of these H1 text areas, these are all a component called fetch header. And so that one takes in a prop of a slogan. So it'll just change whatever's in the H1 tag. It's pretty simple, but again, I have several components throughout the project. Honestly, it would kind of be a lot to list them all out, but that's an example of one that's used in several spots in the project. Also, we can see that in my project, I have all the document titles changing. So of course it just says through the eras because it's the home page here. But if I click on explore an era, it says the era selector. That's kind of what I've named it. But let's see, when I click on the Taylor Swift era, it says up here the Taylor Swift era. So it does say the era name at the top on the selected era page. If I try to explore a different era, let's say Reputation, it says the Reputation era. So those are my document titles. If I go to my comments, here it's also different. It says Reputation era comments. And for each different era, that comment section would have a different name. Let me just show that. So 1989, if I go to the comments, it says 1989 era comments. And last but not least, the part of the project where I had to display notifications using React Toastify. Again, I have it so that if the action is successful, like the deletion, creation, or updating of the comments, a notification will pop up at the top of the screen. So if I just show this again, Sarah, I love 1989, and I submit the comment, a notification pops up, comment successfully made, refreshing the page. If I hide my name, so if I do that patching, comment successfully edited, refreshing page. And if I delete it, comment successfully deleted, refreshing page. And yeah, that is my commenting system. Again, has the name, body, and timestamp. And they are sorted from most recent to oldest. So the oldest will render last, and the most recent will render at the top. So it will render first. My comments aren't nested, but I think it still works pretty well where it still feels like certain comments could be responding to others, thanks to like this messaging UI. And so I also did the extra credit. So I'll just show the extra credit in my demo as well. So if we go to /admin, we can see that I have an admin page for deleting comments. It lists out the API resources in the comments section. So anything that is in this part of my database is rendered here. I just kind of have it listed out. I didn't really add too much CSS just because it would be an admin using it. So yeah, I just have it listed out where it kind of lists everything that's in each comment object. And so I do have a bulk deletion experience. So each row does have this checkbox. As you can see, you can check several of them in any order. And let me just uncheck these. So you can check any row. And of course, again, each row has a comment. And then at the top of the page, there is this checkbox that says select or deselect all. So if I check it and everything else is not selected, it selects it all. If I click it again, it deselects. And actually, if I have things selected, it will still select everything and then deselect. Let me just show it. If I deselect some comments, and then I click up here, it'll still deselect everything because that is just the way that I have it. And yeah, when at least one item is selected, there is a button that displays that allows the user to delete the selected comments. Yeah, when some of these comments are selected, it's this checkbox at the top is in the indeterminate state, and we can see that because it has this hyphen or minus sign, and it changes a different color in my CSS. So again, that is like the indeterminate state kind of, and allows us to see if anything was selected when we're selecting or deselecting all. So let me just delete some comments to show that part. So I'm going to select 1, 3, and 4, and I'm going to click on this button that says delete selected comments. And again, this button only shows up when at least one item is selected. So all those other times, it just wasn't there, but when at least one thing is selected, it shows up. So I'm going to delete it here, and then I get a notification, selected comments successfully deleted, refreshing page. And so now we can see that those comments that I had selected, so 1, 3, and 4, the comment ID 1, 3, and 4 have disappeared from what's being listed. And if I click on my database here, refresh it, as we can see 1, 3, and 4 are gone from the database as well. And yeah, when I end up going to these eras, so one was the era Taylor Swift. So when I click on that and then I go to the comments, it still works. The comment form still works and the page still renders. It just renders without any comment there.